And Maha, I start working on that kind of brief introduction
Mhm.
vis-a-vis first project.
Mhm.
So it's not finished yet. And if I say it now so that way you will tell me whether it is very long and boring or if I'm on the right track.
Yeah, you can do that. Like that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh, so I have a total of 5.5 years of experience in Power BI, SSIS, and of course, SQL Server development. And while the first 2 years of experience were as SQL developer, the last 3.5 years focused mainly on Power BI. As SQL developer, I worked on many areas, including normalization, views, index, store procedures, and subqueries, triggers, and so on, and including relational database models and so forth. But when it comes to Power BI, the latest project I was working on was for a relatively middle-sized pharmaceutical company in New Jersey, and the client wanted an insight into the data for the success of sale campaigns and, of course, their overall sales and profit. So to start with, I had to collect data from multiple sources. And while some of these source data were from SQL Server, others were Excel and flat files such as CSV and text and SAP. So due to relatively smaller file size, while I imported most of the data, I used direct query for one large SQL dataset. And in terms of sales campaigns, the client only got so much advertising budget around, and they were trying to decide which regions and or demographics they wanted to focus on. So they can spread it all evenly, or they try to focus on demographics that is overperforming. For the success of the sales campaigns, we analyzed the data based on three key performance indicators: total sales, number of sales, and of course, deal size. So we also drilled further total sales in terms of geography, time, and demography, which is age and gender. So by studying the data, we figured that out that women between the age of 30 and 42 in New York and New Jersey were by far their richest pockets of sales. So we presented to their sales team to focus on those demographics, and sure, that drove their sales significantly higher compared to the same quarter last year. And beside the sales campaign, we had also to analyze top and the bottom 10 best performing products and salespersons and so on. So it continues like that. Am I too detailed or I don't know?
I think you are going good. Like little bit, maybe you can cut short. You started with problem statement, and then you told that these were the data sources that you have used, and you gave the reason why you have used direct query. So all those things are like looking fine only. And then I think you can go this much detail because that's fine if you're giving your introduction for 5 minutes or like 3-4 minutes as well. That should be fine. So uh,
Yeah,
you
because
can talk about this thing.
because the two literally they gave me assignment like the on the sales campaign and overall the sales output. So overall here I just focused on, then I show them like the demographics which are really hot and overperforming. So the second part which I cut it short was like for the overall, I have to get like finance data from where I got it, and for the top 10 sales rep, I put it in the table chart showing current sales, prior sales, change in percent, and the same was done for the bottom 10. So and each salesperson can be drilled further to show which account are driving the sales up or down. it also displayed call counts versus current quarter and so forth. So my point was just at least if I try to show this part a little bit, I was counting the minutes. It wasn't 5 minutes when I checked myself earlier. So I was a bit confused. Am I
Okay,
too
so I'll tell you.
details or not?
Yeah, so I think you are mentioning different things that you have done. Like one, the first part was by gender, you have split it, and then you have saw which is performing, which is not, and then you told something like the second part you did few analysis, right? So what we can do is you can tell all these, but then at the start you started with the problem statement and then you told that these are the data sources, and then before starting like before deep diving into each of the visuals that you have created, right? Prior to that, you can tell that at an overall level we have looked into these 3 or 4 major views, and we also have drilled through capability in all these visuals or in on certain visuals, and which helps us in understanding how it's performing if we look at this particular slice or this particular cut, right? So what I'm trying to tell is like one by one, since you are giving, it's looking like never ending. I don't know like how many parts you have done. So before giving detailed information, prior to that, what you can give, like you have created these 3, 4, 5 visuals out, and what is the, let's say you told that these are the data sources I pulled the data into, and then I looked into visuals. I have created a dashboard which contains these 4 types of visuals. One is based on gender, second is based on this, third is based on this, and in each of these there is drill through capability which helps us analyze the data better. And then you start to tell like because of the and I don't think like more depth you have to go, just talk about this and then tell like through gender we can analyze that which particular segment of a customer is performing better, or which has like more volume coming or more sales coming, and then like one liner from each of these, like why you have created this particular chart. And I think that should be good.
But since you already worked on projects, when you listen to my talk, does it make sense? Does it
Yeah,
sound right?
actually makes sense. Initially, I was like, I thought that you have really like, even I had that impression that, okay, he has worked on these things, and then looks like he has worked on the project because you were talking so detailed. So it was good. Just one thing I felt was initially you have mentioned like very heavy name, like you told that I have worked on, let's say SQL, and then a lot of things you said. Like, can you repeat like initial 2, 3 liners, like what all things you have worked on? SAP, you
So
said, like you have pulled data
Power
from
BI,
SAP.
Power BI,
Yeah,
SSIS, and SQL.
yeah.
The
Then,
SAP came when it is when I talked about where the source data was coming from, Excel files, and also
and
from SAP.
before that, what all things you know, like, uh,
Oh, as SQL developer, I worked on many areas, including normalization, views, index, store
correct,
procedures, blah, blah,
correct.
subqueries, joins.
Yeah, so these are very heavy topics. That's what I was telling. Like if you are mentioning normalization of, or if you are mentioning stored procedure, right? So if you know this one and if you are mentioning this, they might ask questions on these topics. So you should be confident enough to talk about all these. Otherwise, don't use like this much uh, these all concepts over there. Maybe pick like 4 or 5 things that you are confident on and then talk about those only, because what happens whenever you will tell something, like first thing is strike me that okay, he knows normalization, he knows stored procedure, he is very, then that means he is very good at SQL, he can write queries, etc., like everything, he's very strong. Then he's talking about Power BI. Under Power BI also he knows like all the concepts, so it looks like you know a lot. And then I just want to make sure like if somebody cross question you on the same topic, and if you don't give answer, then that would be a negative impression rather than talking so much about all these topics. Keep like all those topics that you are comfortable. If you are comfortable, then I'm fine. I'm just trying to make sure that
Makes
don't
sense.
put just for the sake of putting it, right?
Makes sense. Makes
Yeah.
sense.
And then regarding introduction, I felt it was good because it gave an impression that you have done a lot and you have done hands-on because you were talking in so much detail. Just try to rephrase it as I told, like try to first summarize what all you have done and then go into detail. That would be better. That
Makes
would give an
sense.
idea, okay, like he is going to talk about these 4 things going forward, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank
Okay. Yeah, I think you have prepared well. Like I see a lot of progress from the previous introduction that you gave. So good work.
you.
Work on this one more, little bit more, and be confident on whatever you are telling. And this is for all 3 of you. Like don't talk too much or put something that you are not confident on, because interviewer can ask any type of question. Since you are telling that you have like 3-4 years of experience, so the expectation will be that if he is telling, he must have worked or he must be knowing. And if and it always happens, like if you tell that I know this and you couldn't answer, like then that will be more negative rather than telling that I am basic or I know little bit about this one. I need to but I can try answering your questions. So that
Yeah.
would give more good impression, right? So yeah, okay, so I think we are good. Then let's start. I'll share my screen and you guys tell me like once you're able to see.
Got it.
Okay. So I'll quickly talk about the same thing that we discussed, but today since I have data, I think this will be more effective session. So starting with the first question is, what is a data model, right? So you guys already know this is like report view, data view, and then model view. I'll go here under. So what is a model or what is a data model? If somebody asks, you can tell that. Multiple tables, you can see here there are multiple tables connected via relationships, right? Each of these are connected via relationships based on some common field is a data model. So this is a data model that we are seeing over here. Okay, so you can answer, right? What is a data model? Multiple tables which are connected via relationships based on common field is a data model. Okay, now the top table, and then the second question is like how many types of tables are present in data model. So you can see like there are 2 types of tables. One is fact, one is dimension table. Fact table is the data table which are in the below. Returns table and sales table. For this particular example, I have return table and sales table. Return table and sales table are fact table or data table, you can say. And lookup is and dimension table is lookup table, which is like at the top. These are the lookup table. Usually why I keep like this, the visualization like this, because uh, it always happens that we do one-to-many relationship, right? So it will flow from top to bottom. So it's like more cleaner than mixing each of these lookup and or dimension and fact table. So this is like, even like I follow this good way to keep it clean. This data model view clean is keeping lookup table at the top and fact table at the bottom, so that you can see like from where what connection is happening, right? So that is second thing. And the question will be types of data tables under data model. The third thing would be uh, what is the relationship, like uh, the question will be uh, what is the relationship and what is merged tables. Okay, so this one we have already discussed merged table, right? Like in merged table you basically pull data from another table, and it is not recommended because it creates redundant data and utilizes significant memory than creating relationship, right, between multiple small tables. So simple thing is merging is not recommended. Creating relationship between tables are recommended because like that the second part, merging is creating redundant data. By redundant data, what I mean is, let's say you are merging two tables, and you're pulling the second table data into the first table. So what will happen, wherever it will merge, right, that the row will repeat. So that is like redundant information, and it will eat memory space also. It will be like processing power, or processing will be slow. Okay, so that you can answer. The fourth thing is, what is a relationship? Like, how do you create a relationship in the data model? So this is a relationship, right? There are two ways, you already know. One is drag and drop. Like, you can, if you know you need to create relationship between these two tables, what you need to do is, let's say you want to create relationship on based on product category key. Like, one is category table, one is subcategory. So you can pull, or you can pick this particular thing, drag and then drop here. It will automatically create table, and then according to um, uh, whatever Power BI feels, it will give it one to many. Now, how to identify its one to many relationship? So wherever there will be one written at the left side, that is one, and wherever it's star, that is many. So many a times it happens that it's star to like, it can happen star to star, or one to star, or star to one, right? So now what is the difference? So let me go here and show you. And how to, one thing is, you can drag and drop to create relationship. Second thing is, you can go to manage relationship, and then you can create, right? So there are automatic already created, like this dashboard I have not created. This is like, this one is already created, right? And you can see like what all relationships, but once you create go to new and create one relationship, it will start appearing from the next time over here. So what it shows is like, these are the active relationship. That means it is like, if you untick it, that means that relationship won't work. Like, if you want to pull that field from this table, let's say, like if you want to pull sales information for a particular product, and if this relationship is not existing, then it might not work for you. So these are the active relationship. That means there is relationship between the tables, and then these are like the from which table to which table you are creating relationship. This is like product lookup table to product subcategory lookup table, and then what is the key? So product subcategory key is the common field between these two tables. So this is like the overview kind of thing that you will get once you open manage relationship. Like, under your data view, how many types of relationship are already created. So let me edit one of those. I'll not edit, I'll just doing this so that I can show you what's happening here. So if you see, we have at the top, you can select one table, at the bottom, you can select one table, and then there is cardinality. Now, cardinality is like very important concept, and many a times people ask like, what is cardinality? Okay. And so now what happens, if you go under this arrow, you have many to one, one to one, one to many, and many to many, right? Now, what is the difference between many to one and one to many? If somebody asks you, you can tell there is no difference between many to one and one to many. Both are same. Why there is sometimes you see one to many and sometimes you see many to one? It depends on first table that you select over here. So if the record under each of the, under this table, if any row is repeating, like it's not unique, then it will categorize under cardinality, it will get categorized as many. So you can see here what's happening. One particular product, like product at a product subcategory level, you can see 1414 is repeating. That means this column is not unique. You have multiple records for this this category, product subcategory, right? So that's why this table is considered as many. And then you have subcategory lookup. So always it will happen that under lookup table, you will see one record per row. And so it will be one. So wherever under and that's what is happening. If you pull subcategory lookup table at the top and product lookup table at the bottom, this cardinality will change to one to many. So concept will, like, both are same. It just depends like which is your first table that you are pulling over at the top, and basis on that this one changes, right? So many to one and one to many are same. Okay. One-to-one is when you have unique key in both of them, like both has single row, then that is called as one-to-one. One-to-one uh, is not that efficient, because if there is one-to-one row, you would prefer I think merging also, because it will not create redundancy, because you know that for 14 you have only one row 14 over here, right? So then you can merge also table, because the biggest drawback of merging is it creates redundancy, like the same data will repeat, same row will repeat multiple times. But if you have one-to-one row in each of the table, you can go for merging also. So like one-to-one is valid, but it's not efficient in such case, right? And then comes many to many. So many to many usually we don't use. Like mostly used cardinality is one to many, and many to many is not recommended in such case. So many to many you saw last time. I think Ben pulled like the same table, and this row was repeating in both the tables. So then it is called as many to many. Okay. So any questions here, because this is important?
No, it's clear.
It's clear? Okay.
Now, can you hear
Okay.
me now?
I can hear you now. Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah.
Am I
Okay.
audible?
So if we have many to many cardinality, so we don't do it, or I mean, is there any other way to do it that even if it's not, recommended way of doing it?
It's not recommended. So now I'll tell you, like, where can you see many to many? If you create relationship between returns and sales, so what will happen under sales also, there will be multiple product key, right? Because for one product, there will be multiple sales happening, right? And under returns also, for one product key, there will be multiple returns happening, and multiple product will come also, because it's like return date. So one product will be returned multiple times in different quantities. So this is also having many rows for one product. This is also having many rows for one product. Now we don't need to create relationship between returns and sales, right? So why it's not recommended now? You can do return to product category, or maybe product subcategory like this, and instead of creating it from product lookup, you could have done this, right? uh, Creating from returns to sales. But that is not recommended, because it will create like lot of error will create, because what will happening, this shows how it flows, right? Now I'll tell you like what is this shows that one particular, like if it's one over here and if it's multiple over here, that means that rows of this table is getting filtered based on whatever selection we do here. Basically this is what is happening with the filter. uh, the arrow is signifying that the rows will get filtered from sales table based on the selection from product lookup table. Let's say I select product 1. So what it will do for product 1, it will filter all the sales present in this table, right? So this is how filtering happens. Now if you create multiple relationship over here, like the Power BI will get confused how to basically filter. If let's say it's filtering product ID basis on this, now here also there are multiple product key, so how it will work? So that's why many to many is not recommended.
Okay, got it.
Right? So that's why it's preferred that always do one to many or many to one is same, like one to many relationship, because this arrow signifies that which table will get filtered based on the previous table, like wherever it's getting connected to, right? So that is what happens. Now, what else is remaining? Where I went? Yeah, here we were. Yeah. So we have covered cardinality. Now there is cross filter direction. So here you can see we have single and both. Single means one direction. Just now we are seeing here. This is like single direction. This table will get filtered from this one. And there is another thing which is both direction, which is bidirectional. So for one to many, it's always single. Whenever we will create one to many, it will always be single, like very rare optional both, but it will always be single. Just remember that whenever there is one to many, there will be single relationship. That means for the multiple or star thing, it will get filtered using the previous table. Now for one to one, if there is one to one relationship, means it will always be both directional cross filter, because what will happen, any table with can get filtered from another table because both has like one record only, right? So that's why it's whenever it will be one to one, this direction will be both, like any table can get filtered from any other table. And whenever it is many to many, it can either be single or both, but since many to many is not recommended, don't bother about that. Nobody will ask that question. Okay. So any questions here you can ask.
It's clear.
It's clear.
It's clear?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So then if that is clear, I think we are good here. So this is how once you create relationship, then the data model part is done. One thing, like this is very minor thing, you can see here, right? This is like something is there, and then in some cases we don't see that hidden thing, right? So we do these, let's say if you have a lot of columns in one of the table and you don't want everything to be shown in your data view, right? So what you can do, you can hide those columns. So hiding doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. If you have hidden customer key column, it exists, but it will not appear in your data view. Now how to hide or how to unhide, you just need to click on, you just need to double click. You can see here, you just need to click once and it will be hidden. And if you will click once again, it will be unhidden, right? So that's why if you go and you see here for sales, we have multiple columns over here, right? If you go here, there are multiple columns you can see, right? But if you go under data view and you go under sales, you will not see that many columns because it's hidden. Okay, you see here only 7-8 columns. So that is like very minor. Nobody will ask, but that was for you guys. Okay, now let's say I want to create or I want to find out the number of orders happening under each product. Under each product, for each product, what is the total orders we are getting, or total orders or total profit? Profit we will come later on. Total orders we are getting for each product category. How will you find that? So you can see here you have product, you see that you have relationship between this one and this one, which has product key, right? So you need to find out the number of orders that are being placed for each product. So for that, what will you do? Can somebody quickly tell me? Like this one, I think you can tell.
Your question is not clear to me.
But in terms of DAX, can I do some count?
You can do count. Yes, you can do.
Can you repeat the question?
So what is the question? I'll repeat. What is the question? So basically, you can see here you have order numbers. Under sales, you know that how many order is happening for each product date wise, right? For on one particular date, for one particular product, how many orders are happening? You know that you have that information here, right? I want to understand, or my question is, for each product key or for each product, what is the total number of orders being sold in 2016 and 2017, or let's say like 1 year only. 2016. In 2016, what is the total orders we are getting from each product? That is the question. Is it clear or not? Then I'll explain again.
No, for me.
Yeah, it's clear.
It's clear? Okay. So now, what will you do to calculate this thing or to get this thing? How will you calculate total orders? So I think somebody said that.
Some count and then the column name.
Yes. Yes. So this is what is happening here. It's already created. So I'll show you. Total orders. Okay. So we have we are creating distinct count now. Again, the next question will come. What is DAX? We have discussed this multiple times, right? DAX is data analysis expression and all those you can tell. Then under DAX, what you can create, right? What all you can create using DAX. So using DAX, you can use DAX for creating measures, and measures is basically aggregation, right? If whenever you want to aggregate, like do sum, count, average, you will create a measure, right? So that's what, if you want to create, if you want, and measure will be filtered, or measure will change its value basis on what filter we are applying, right? So that's why if you see here, we have created under sales, under sales, you can't see here wait 1 minute. If you go under sales here, yeah, so you can't see total orders, total cost, total profit in this table. Can you see that? No, right? Even if it's not hidden, you can't see, right? Because these are the measures that we have created, right? Now, whenever DAX you will use, you will create measure. For calculated field, whenever you will create calculated field, it will always appear over here in your data table. Now, what all different types of DAX functions do you have? So distinct count is one of the function. What it will do, it will count the total number of orders. Like it will take order number at column. Let me go here. Order number, you can see here, right? Order number. So what it will do, there is no filter applied over here, right? I don't know why it's coming, like I had done something, that's why. So it will apply no filter. What it will do, it will just go there. It will count the number of rows. Let me show you this thing. If you go here and then pull just total orders. So how many orders you are getting? 22,534, right? If you go here, there are, you see here 56,046. It's not matching, right? Why? Because we are taking distinct count, right? So distinct count, what it will do, if it's repeating, let's say I filter for S046718. Let me pick one particular order and click OK. This is only one, right? Here, if you select, this will also only be one. Why it's happening? Because this particular data is at order date level, right? The granularity is order date. So what is happening for one particular, like this order or this order number, if you go cancel. Clear all that. Yeah. So this particular thing at an order level, it will be unique. Okay, this will not. So if I select, let's say 5, 7. Oh, let's say if I select 1 to 2015. Okay, so it has 4 orders that's coming over here, 8, 3, 8, 4, 8, 5, 8, 6. So clear all filters. Let me show you here. It will be clear. Total orders is this. If I pull, let's say, or let me create one measure, so you will get a difference. You will get to see a difference. Let me create one measure quickly, which will be total orders.
Count rows.
Correct. To count. Okay. I'll not apply distinct count. I'll do count rows. Okay. And then I'll go to sales. And then okay, and then I'll pull that table. Order number. Why it didn't come? Let me write order number, then I think it will come. There's some issue, I think, because of this one. Is it happening? Sure. I'm not able to create anything over here. Otherwise, it should have come here only, right? No, it's not coming. Okay, then let it be. I'll figure that out. I don't want to waste your time. Yeah. So what will happen now if you don't do distinct? So the repetitive value also will come here, but we want to look at the distinct orders that is getting that is present over there, right? So that's why for total orders, what we are doing, we are creating count distinct count for this particular number, right? Now if I want to look at various by product, how is the total count? So if you see under product, you had four different things. If you go here under product category, let me pull the product category table here. You see here you have 4 category: bikes, components, clothing, accessories, right? But here you don't have components, right? So what must have happened? So for component, there are no sales happening. For component category, there are no sales happening, and that's why we don't see this thing over here. Okay, so we can validate that also. I'll show you quickly what. So let's say for 2 components 2, what is the product subcategory? Let's say this is product category and this is getting matched to these subcategory, right? So let's take headsets, okay, which is like product subcategory 11. So we will see under sales table, I'll filter 11 product subcategory. Do we have here product key? What is there? Product subcategory key 11. I don't have here, then I'll make it unhidden. Maybe it's hidden over here.
I think it's up there, yeah. The second table on at the top.
No, not. I want to look in the sales table, right? Because I want to look at how many basically orders we are getting for that particular thing, right? So that's what my intent is. I'll tell you like what I'm trying to do. I think I have made it product key. Now if I go to product lookup, product A, product subcategory, right? Yes, here. So here we have 11 product subcategory under sales table. If I go product key, product lookup, yeah, here under product lookup. Then because product lookup, so what's happening is product lookup is getting created using these two tables, right? And product lookup has one-on-one relationship, one-to-many relationship between sales. So basis on product lookup, the sales will get filtered. That's what we are doing, right? If you go to this chart, we are pulling category name, subcategory name, right? And then we are pulling total orders. So which all table we are using? We are using product category table, product subcategory table, and sales. But how it's getting filtered? Since this product category, product subcategory is related to product lookup table, and then product lookup table is related to sales, that's how it's getting filtered out. This is how it's getting filtered, right? So if you look at product lookup, because product lookup is output of product category and subcategory. Output means I'm saying this is related to these two, and then this one is related to this particular sales, right? So what I'm trying to show is under product subcategory, if you see under product subcategory key, you won't see any product subcategory. If I filtered 11, you won't not this one. So 2 is components, right? And then if I go under product subcategory, right? I want to look at headsets 11, and then if I go to product lookup, I see 11. So for 11, what all product key I'm getting? 396, 395, 394. Now my intent is to look at this product key in sales table, because that's how it's flowing, right? You got my point? It's flowing like it's taking product category, then it's looking into product subcategory, then it's finding its lookup under product lookup, and then that is being connected to sales. So basically, if you look product key here as what was the product key under product lookup? The product key was 396, 394, 95, 96. If this product key is present in sales, then only you will get sales data, right? So if you go here, you will see whether you have 394, 395, 396. I don't think it will be there. Yeah, see, after 389, there is no row for 394, 95, 96. That is one example. So which means that there are no orders or no sales has happened for helmets, right? That's why we don't have any record for helmets in the sales table, right?
Yeah.
So that's why in this chart, you don't see any sales happening for components, because that is how it's happening. For components, no sales has happened. And we have validated that, right? We have taken like one example of helmet, and we have seen that in sales table that the product key related to that helmet thing is not available in this table, right? Now, there was one question from you guys, like what is the difference between sum and SumX? And so why I'm talking about this is one of the DAX, sum count or distinct count that we have seen right now. So this is one of the DAX. Now again, the SumX thing. So there is measure that we have created, which is total revenue, if you see here. And here you see we have used SumX. Now, when to use SumX, when to use sum, what is the difference, whether we can create it in calculated column or not, I'll talk about that now. Okay, so these are the DAX that we have used. Now related, when to use related. Can you tell me, any one of you, can you tell me like when to use related DAX?
When we want to a link between the other table that has the common column.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Anyone else?
Yes, in this case, if you need to do SumX and you know that from the sales table, you have like, let's say quantity per quantity. So if you go to another table, which is not the sales table, so it might be the products table. So you say times related, and then you call it products and product cost. So if you really want, because we want the quantity times the product cost to get the total value. So to get that, you use related. So as Salam rightly said it's those tables have relational. So you're multiplying from another table.
Correct. So basically what's happening is like for each row, if you want to pull some value which is not present in that table, then you have to then you have to basically use related. Now related will only work when there is relationship between two tables. Like if I break this relationship, from where is it coming? Product lookup. And then this one is coming from sales table, right? So product lookup and sales. If I break this relationship and then run this query, it won't work. Right? Because whenever there is relationship, then only related function will work. And what it will do, this related DAX function will return a related value from another table. Okay, and this work row by row. Like for each row, it will return you the value, right? Now, what happens? Let's say I want to calculate revenue. So to calculate revenue, what all two things we need? To calculate overall revenue, or let's say revenue for each row, what all we need, like what is the price of that item and how much quantity has been sold for that item, right? So then there will be one field for price into quantity. Now the confusion you guys had was, can we create a or can we equalize SumX to calculated column, right? That was the doubt, because SumX is also row by row operation, right? But what happens, the ultimate purpose of SumX is doing aggregation, right? Because X means expression. We are putting expression under this function, and sum means it will like ultimately what it will do, it will sum the entire column, right? So basically what's happening is, in the backend, how this function is working, in the backend, it is creating a column which is quantity into product. And once that temporary column has been created, at the end, it will aggregate the entire value and it will give you one value, which is total revenue, right? So SumX is also a measure. Wherever you will write DAX, DAX is for aggregation. By aggregation, I mean average, count, sum, like whatever function. These functions are used for aggregation, right? Like it will give you one value at the end. So SumX will also give you one value. This particular thing, what like we call SumX as iterative function, because everywhere it will be iterative only, right? Because if you want to calculate average also, you need to basically sum each of the column, each of the row, then divide by the count of row, then it will give you average, right? So although it's getting applied to the entire column, but how it is functioning? It is functioning row by row. It's taking each row, adding and then dividing by count. The same way SumX is working. Basically, it's working on the entire column only, but it's a row by row operation. By that, I mean like in backend, what it will do in backend, it will create a column which will have value of quantity into price, and then at the end, it will aggregate it. So SumX is also a measure. Go on, like ask your question.
Yeah, so you use related because you retrieve data from two tables, right? Otherwise, you can sum up SumX. You can use SumX if it's all a single column. You don't need related, right?
we don't need related. Let's say you have quantity and price in same table, right? Then why would I use related and then pull price from another table? I am using related here, or it's being used related here only because we have price in another table. That's why we are using related. Otherwise, we could have done sum x quantity multiplied by price, and that's it. And it would have given you like the entire sum.
Okay.
Yeah. So that is the difference basically under sum and sum x.
Yeah. You clarified for me. It was me who asked you earlier. Now you clarified it. Thank you.
Okay, no problem. Yeah, so it's clear, right? Like whenever we create DAX, that is for aggregation, and whenever we want to aggregate anything, at that time we will create measure. We won't create calculated field. Calculated field we only create when we need to have like some value at an, or when we want to do two operation and have that value here, right? Then we will create calculated field, calculated column, right? Let's say I want something here. Let me look at it. We don't have anything where we can create a calculated column here. Otherwise, what we could have done is, let's say I'm creating one particular column where I want to multiply all the order quantity by 4 and have some value stored over here. Then what I will do, I will do order quantity multiplied by 4 and create one particular column that will sit over here. But whenever we want something which will change by the filter or at an overall level, which I call as aggregation or group by or combining multiple rows, then we will create measure. Then we won't create calculated field. So measure works on the entire column and calculated column works on the row. That's the concept. Like I'm not sure whether.
Yes, the only question I have is, literally we can do everything using measures. So why do we even need calculated column? Because it's not preferable, because it adds columns to the table, and there's no point of having it. So what would be the time calculated column is utilized?
Let's say you have text. You have text.
To create a relationship.
You have.
Sorry?
To create, we need a calculated column to create a relationship between tables when we don't have a common column.
When we cannot make any, when we cannot use related, you mean?
No, we use a calculated column to create a relationship between tables when we don't have a common column between tables. So we create a calculated column. So sometimes we use to create a relationship. We use we create a new column. Am I right?
Yeah. So there are 2-3 things when you can create calculated column. One is, let's say you have like text field in this, right? Because measure will always work on the numeric field, right? Because there it will happen aggregation. Now, if you have like text field, let's say name, first name, last name, like that, and you need to create full name, how you will create using measure? You can't, right? Then at that time, you will have to create calculated field. The other thing that Salem was mentioning is, let's say you have this table and you want to create relationship with some other table for which you don't have here unique key. And you want to assign like 1, 2, 3, 4 to each row. Then you will create one calculated column. You will assign some value which will act as your key to create relationship with the other table. So that is the second scenario when you can use calculated column. But the main thing which I usually see is like whenever there is text field and you can't use measure and you need to do some row by row operation, you create calculated column.
Got it. Makes sense.
Makes sense.
Okay. So yeah, so I was talking about multiple DAX queries, DAX functions, right? So we have talked about average earlier in our previous sessions. I showed you how this work, how SumX works, how related works, right? We saw how distinct count works, how count rows works, right? Now we have orders, we have revenue, we can create profit, all these are things. Now there are few things that I told you that related to date function. Those are also really important. Lot of people ask you question. In fact, yesterday I was looking at this dashboard and I saw that this was the question was asked in my interview. I'll tell you what was the question later on. But then people ask these questions and these are like very good questions. So if you want to, and these are widely used in any of the dashboard, because what happens in any of the business, they want to see till date, like starting from this year, let's say 2022 till date, how much revenue we have generated. Because what happens for any business, they have some targets that they have to achieve this much revenue by, let's say, 3 months, like quarterly target, or by or half yearly target, like that, right? So basically this is one of the measure which is being created in any dashboard, Power BI, Tableau, anywhere, so that we know that how we are performing, whether we are close to our target or not, right? So that's why we create YTD, which is YTD or QTD or MTD. YTD is year till date, MTD is month till date, QTD is quarter till date. So basis on whatever target, monthly, quarterly, yearly, we create this field. Now there's like, this is like very simple thing, but you need to know how it works, right? So what here you can see, there are two things that has been used. One is calculate and one is date sys dates YTD, right? So date YTD is a function which will give you calendar. So you already have date, right? Date YTD is inbuilt function which will give you till date what is the value, right? And basis on whatever you have here, like what you need to apply your date YTD on which column you need to apply dates YTD, that column you need to mention over here, right? So basically what calculate will do, it will evaluate the sum of total revenue based on the filter that will be applied over here. In this case, the filter is dates YTD. So basis on till date, it will start from, let's say, 2016. If I filter only 2016, it will start from 2016 till date. Since the date is, it's 2022, it will give like total revenue for the entire date. Let's say I create here 2022 and then I apply this. So what it will take, it will start from 2022 first date. It will see how many days we have, and till this date what are the revenue, and then it will basically sum the total revenue for those many dates. So every day this YTD revenue will change. This value will keep on changing because this is the filter which will change every day. So that's how the calculate function work, and that's how you can calculate YTD, MTD, QTD. I think so for MTD and QTD there will be dates, MTD, dates, QTD, like that, right? So that's how it works. Any question?
How about previous year? And we have a function for previous year to date, right? Previous
Yes.
year. I say, okay.
Yes, we have that as well.
And same period last year?
Same period last year, right? So for that, there should be some function. Let me look at that. So there are multiple functions that you can go through. What or maybe what I'll do is I'll give you all the date and time functions that are present over there.
Okay, and I have one quick question. In terms of dates table, Do we always have to create date table or we don't?
Okay, so now if creating date table is recommended always, because what will happen is if you have date table, what you can do is look at this here. You have calendar lookup table, right? You can create start of week, start of year, weekend, weekday, all those things, because many a times it happens is they will ask you how much is the sale in the weekday, because and you want to compare weekend versus weekday, because let's say there is some festive season going on, or on weekend some festival is there, so on weekend sales will bump, and then on weekday it won't. Or maybe like on weekend people are more free, IT professionals are more free, so sales will be more. On weekday it won't, and somebody wants to compare weekend versus weekday, right? So what we will do, we will create like whatever we want to have, weekend, weekday, all those calculated field, and we will have like one table ready as calendar table, so that like whenever we want to slice and dice our data according to like weekday, weekend, start of year, end of month, whatever, like day of week, etc., we can pull that particular column or slice and dice our data accordingly. So it's recommended to create calendar table. If it's not required, if it's like very small analysis and you already have date in your table, not recommended. Like you can't do, like it's not mandatory, but it's recommended.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So that is there. Any more questions? Like you can keep on asking your questions. That's right.
How about date master table?
You have which table?
Date master table.
Date master table, like in which you have all the functions.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think date master table is the date table.
Is it the same with?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So like you have date master table. I actually didn't get Salem. Like what were you saying? You have date master table from where?
No, is it recommended to create a date master table?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
Date master table means the date table you are saying, right? Like the calendar table or date table or whatever. Date master table, I think, is the same, in which you have like all the details for date, related to date, on a particular date. What is the day of week? What is the month it belongs to? That what is the month of that particular date? What is the year of that particular date? Whether it falls on weekend, whether it falls on weekday, like all those information for that particular date will stay in date master table, you can say, or calendar table, you can say. Both are same.
Okay. So the calculation has to be taken with respect to today's date.
No.
Current.
So it depends like on what kind of calculation you are doing. I think you got confused. Okay, so I'll tell you. Let's say you, so we were discussing year till date, right? Like the sales that has happened year till date. In that case, you will apply the YTD function. And then how you are able to do that? Dates, YTD, and from where you are taking this? You are taking this from calendar lookup table. You can see this, right? So you already have date column in calendar lookup, and then you are applying YTD because that is the ask. Like you want to look at the sales from year till date. That's why we are applying year till date. Like this is purely basis on what kind of data you want to look at. If you don't want to look at YTD, you don't have to apply this then. You will apply some other function. Like whatever you have, the final output, whatever you want, basis on that, you will apply the function over here. But the final thing I was telling was, since we need date for our calculation purpose, or like multiple things we can do using date, so it's recommended to have a date table separate, so that like you can and have all these calculations kept over there, so that whenever you need any of these, you can just pull that thing from calendar lookup table.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Any more questions?
So we're gonna start the project on Thursday, right? So is there anything to be ready for?
Yes, we can start that. Yes, we can keep on discussing all these things. But I
Okay.
think we have covered this thing. We have covered data view. We have covered relationship, cardinality. I'm just thinking any major thing is remaining. Like these are the basics. Then multiple DAX you can keep on reading. I can keep on giving you. That's fine. And then yeah, we can start project. Maybe
Okay.
I'll see maybe Thursday or Saturday because maybe that will be Friday for you guys because Saturday for me will be holiday so that I can prepare also some few things for you guys. So I'll see. If not Thursday, then it will. If not Thursday, then it or Wednesday for you guys, then it will be Friday. But in next 1-2 sessions we will start. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So
No,
when are we going to
it's
meet?
gonna be Wednesday actually, right?
Yeah, Wednesday
Wednesday.
and
Okay.
Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
The
Okay.
same time, like whatever we were meeting.
Okay.
Okay. So I think yeah, for today we are good. What all we have covered, I'll quickly summarize so that it's easier for you guys to understand. What is a data model, right? And then how many types of tables do we have under data model? What is a lookup table? What is a fact table? Whether to create merging or not? How to create relationship? There are two ways to create relationship. What is the cardinality? What is basically the single or both directions? What is relationship type, right? Then the DAX calculation, difference between sum and sum x, uh, and like little bit date related calculation, right? So these were things that we discussed. Next class we will either what we can do, like I have more questions, interview questions that came to me also and that I have from earlier. So maybe like if I we can't start project next time, so next time we will discuss all those questions because sorry.
I think that will be good.
Okay.
Yeah, so we can discuss that. Like I'll try to have project like start project as soon as possible, but if that is not the case in next session at least, so then I'll discuss all the questions that I have because we have covered I think the basics, so now we can like discuss as many questions as we can, so that would help you guys, right? And then we will focus on project also.
Yeah. So also on the project, can you bring, give us some, project language, the language go with the projects?
That project go with which all language?
No, the language I'm talking about, all this, technical language, go with the project.
Yeah. That I will guide you and I'll ask you guys to even write down so that you can
Yeah.
reiterate the
All right.
same thing.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
you will also email us the cheat sheet.
Yeah.
Yes, I'll do that.
Yeah. Oh, is Ravi still around or he left?
I think he left. Is
Yeah.
not here.
Ping
But
him,
what is the you guys
uh,
can ping also in Power BI. What do you want? The recording of these class? Do you want? Or
no, that was
Yes.
something else. Yeah. Okay. I can ping him on now.
yeah, maybe you can connect with him on
Yeah,
WhatsApp.
I can do
Yeah,
that.
that's
Thank
not
you
a-
very much. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for your time. Yeah, take care. Bye.
Thank you, teacher.
Bye-bye.
Have a good
Bye,
night.
Maha.
Good
Yeah.
night.
Okay.
Nandito sa nandito. I'll naggaran niyo. Okay. የህንድ እንደዚህ አይነት ይህ ናይስ ጋይ ለህንድ ይሄ ሰውየው
የሚያስተምራችሁ ፕሮጀክቱን አሳያችሁ።
አሁን ኮርሱን እየጠየቅኳት ነበር ነው። አይ ነገሩ ሴንስ ይሰጣል። ማት ነገር እያስተማረችን ነው። ሚስ ያደርግ ነው እና እሱን እንትን ብዬ ባይ ኔክስት ክላስ ዌንስዴይ ኦር ፍራይዴይ ሳተርዴይ ሰንዴይ ኮርሱን እንጨርሰዋለን አለች። ይህን ሳምንት በደንብ ብጠቀምበት አውል ቢ ሬዲ። ይህን ሳምንት በደንብ ከተጠቀምኩበት አውል ቢ ሬዲ። ሰውየውን ቴክስት አደረኩት ከሰኞ ኢንተርቪው ሊኖረን ስለሚችል የእርሳ ፕሌስ ተብዬ ነው አልኩት። ድንቋ ሰብሪ ነበረች እንዴ የምታወራሽ? ምን ባላት
መድኃኒት ውሰጂ ያላት መድኃኒት አልወሰደችም።
አሁን
እንትኑን ስላነበረው ምንድን ነው ተልፋታ እሱ ምናምን ይላል። ያው ሳይድ ኢፌክት የሚስቡ የለም። ለማንኛውም
ለዚህ ለጉልበቷ ይጻፈላት
ለእንትናለች
ግን ሰውነት መቀነሱ ምናምን ለውጥ አየሁበታለች።
መድኃኒት ነገር መውሰድ ከጀመርኩ በኋላ እኔ ውስጤ ሰላም አለኝ።
ይሄ ጠዋት ጠዋት የሚጠጣው እሱማ የሆነ ነገር አለ። እኮ ጂም ኬር እኮ ነው የማውቀው እኮ ልዩነት መደበር የለም ምን የለም። ነገ ጠዋት ትሄጃለሽ? አይመስለኝም። ግን she's okay አይደል?
Yeah.
ወደውላታለሁ ያ ዛሬ ቢዚ ሆንኩ እንዴ
ሰውዬው ሰርጀሪ ያላለኝ አሁን ሲለኝ ያስደነገጥኩኝ አገረመኝ።
በዛ ነው እነሱ ብር የሚሰሩት። እንደዛ ነው ለገንዘብ የሚያደርጉ ከሆነ መቼም ግፈኞች ናቸው። ግፍ ነው መቼም ሰው ላይ ዝም ብለው ቡልሺት ነው ማለት ነው። ሜዲካል ኤቲክ ምናምን ነው የሚያወሩ። ጥያቄዎች እንዳሉ ተደጋጋሚ ናቸው እንደማያውቁ አገላለጽ ጥልቀት ምናምን ይሆናል እንጂ አብዛኛው የምናውቀው ሰብጀክት ነው። አንዳንድ ሚስ እናደርገው ነው አንዳንድ ሚስ እናደርገው ይኖር ይሆናል ወይ ደግሞ የጥልቀቱ ካልሆነ በስተቀር አይዲያው ሁሉም ማለት ነው። ኦፎሊ እሱን ደግሞ ስታይ ሞራል ይሰጣል።
ሰፋርጎ መናገር ማለት
አሁን እኮ ቅድም ከእንትና ጋር እያወራን ነበር የሆነ ጓደኛው ኢንተርቪው ጨርሶ በቀደም እንትን ማድረግ ነው አለ በቃ ይሄ ኢንትሮዳክሽን ላይ የምታውቀውን ነገር ጠቅላላ ፕላስ ደግሞ ተመልሰው ቢጠይቁ መመለስ የምትችለውን ነገር የምትችለውን ያህል 5 ደቂቃ ይሰጣል አለ ሰመሪ እሱ ላይ በደንብ ተዘጋጅተህበት እንትን ካልክ ከዛ በኋላ የሚጠይቁ ጥያቄ ይቀንሳል። ልጁ ስራ አገኘ ነው ሌላ ነው ስሚል ሶፍት ነው ግን የተለያየ ወደ 5-6 ጊዜ እንትን ብሎ በኋላ ነው የሆነ ሰው ቲፕ አድርጎት ነው መሰለኝ። Yep. አንድ ደግሞ እኮ ስራ ከገባሽ በኋላ እኮ ሁሉም እኮ ነው በቃ አንድ ስራ ላይ ደግሞ ስትሆኚ ኤቭሪባዲ ደውልልሻል ከዛ በኋላ That's how it is. እንዳልሽው ኬሚስቶች አይ ዶንት ቲንክ ደሞዛቸው በቂ አልመሰለኝም። እንደዚህኛው አይደለም መሰለኝ። እኔ እንደው ለማንኛውም ብዬ ነው እንጂ ኤኒ ታይም እዚህ ከጠሩኝማ ጥዬ ነው የምጠፋው አለኝ። አሪፍ ነገር ባይሆን ኖሮ ኤግዛክትሊ መጀመሪያው ላይ ግን ያ ሰውዬ ግን ግፈኛ ነው። ያ ሰውዬ ባስተማረን ስራ ጀምሩ ማለቱ እኮ በኋላ እኮ ተሰብስበን ነው መጀመሪያ ሞራል ነበረን እንዴ ተሰብስበን እንደው መጀመሪያ ላይ ነኝ ያየሁት እንትን ይሄ ኢንተርቪው ፖርሽኖች ማለት ላይቭ ኢንተርቪው ሳይ እንዴ ኧረ እናንተ ሰዎች ይሄ ነገር እንዴት ነው የሚሆነው አልኳቸው ደግሞ ከባድ ነው ሰውየው ቀላል ነው ብሎ ሊከተን የሆነ ነገር ላይና እንትን እንበለው አልኳቸው ፑሽ እናድርገው ሁላችን